Alright, welcome back, guys. Thank you for coming. I know I've been away a while, so I apologize, and I want to thank you guys for your patience, and for those of you that have sent your prayers for my beloved wife, who were going through very difficult trials. For those of you that know, I did pull the video on my backup channel because I just wanted that to get out to my subscribers, that let them know what's up with my family, what's going on, why I'm a mess mentally and emotionally. But I'm pulling myself together here because this is a major fire that we need to walk through as a family through faith together, so that we can beat this thing, because things aren't good, guys. Just put it that way. So your prayers are greatly appreciated. Thank you. Today we're going to talk about artificial intelligence, an ancient artificial AI that I've been able to hear for the last probably 3 years, I would say. Okay, and you may want to check back, I would say, in about 24 to 36 hours. Give me 36 hours, because by the time I actually get this all finished and uploaded to YouTube, I'm going to be pretty wiped out. It's probably going to be pretty late because the hassles that I have to go through, it's not natural. I'm being harassed, and from outside sources, with electronic harassment, making it very, very difficult for me to keep making videos, especially when it comes to technology. Today we're going to talk about Project Bluebeam and the AI Quantum Matrix, which are both one and the same. I'm here to tell you today, my friends, that we are now well within Project Bluebeam. It is likely not what most people expected. They flipped it and then inverted it on us, and we're going to talk more about that shortly. But in case you guys would like to get caught up on of course, what happened to my wife, it's a tragedy, but we're going to deal with it and overcome it, okay, through Father God. He's going to give us that strength. All glory and praise to our Father God and His Christ. So my TI testimony, third temple within the human host. Now this I'm going to update. Give me 24, 36 hours. Like I said, I got to put all the links in. I'm going to put a lot more information into this, because this is about, the jab that we can't talk about here on YouTube. So I'm going to add a lot more information and include links for you guys, so that you'll at least be able to have access to that information, despite the fact I can't talk about it on this platform. At least I do have a private platform that I can work with as my blog page. So let's get started and jump right in and talk about how Satan and this AI frequency, who Satan is the prince of the power of the air, is at one with this AI frequency. And through this AI frequency, I call it Apollyon, the destroyer, Abaddon, rising, one and the same. It doesn't matter. They're taking over the entire Earth plane, along with it's the greatest, most existential threat to humanity, as well as the entire universe. So let's get started with first talking about Harold Kotz. We're going to have a good time looking at this map today, because look at this. This is just incredible, right? You guys see this here? I don't even know how to pronounce that, but the first thing that sticks out to me is Ai Padis. Okay, what is it? Iapetus or something? Ancient Death Star. And this Dark Fleet. Okay, similar to the Empire in Star Wars, which is exactly what I see every time I look out up at the cloudy skies. Alright, and speaking about the cloudy skies, for those of you that know me, you know that I live next to both an Air Force base and a small Army base. And the military activity over the past 2 weeks has been extremely abnormal. Very heavy traffic. Yesterday, they were flying Chnooks back and forth all day long. Those are personnel carriers. And there were likely Black Hawks as well. They were flying just above the cloud deck, so you couldn't see them. But they were traveling in 2s and 3s at a time. Yes, there were some single Chnooks flying, but there was mostly 2s and 3s at a time. I mean, the whole house vibrates and shakes when these things fly by, so it's absolutely incredible. Also, what's absolutely incredible is that right now it's actually only at 0.3. There's a constant electromagnetic frequency that is now here, that like about a month or so ago, I was documenting this for some time. It would start later at night, and it would pulse. It would pulse at a low pulse, like 0.5 to about 1.1 milligauss. And it would do that every night for several hours, and then it would stop, and it'd be zeros across the board again. And then, now, I would say for probably the last 2-3 weeks maybe, okay, maybe 2 weeks, I don't remember exactly, 2 to 3 weeks, it's been at 0.5, and today is the lowest I've seen it at 0.3, okay? Even when I take it out to the woods, when I stay in my basement, when I go places where it should be reading zeros across the board, there's still an electromagnetic, not a pulse. This is an electromagnetic field in the air. And I don't know what it's being used for, or if it is another body, a celestial body that has an actual electromagnetic pull on it. Okay, an electromagnetic field, I should have said, around another body in the heavens. Okay, so we don't know. But I am documenting this, and this is very, very, very bizarre. So we got a lot of footage to look at. We got a big presentation, guys. So let's just jump right in. We're going to start off with Harold Kotz, how he's going to explain, just like this Great Awakening map, which I found completely interesting. It just blew me away when I saw this ancient artificial intelligence originally at one with the infinite creator, all right, and broke away and became its own sentient awareness that takes over everything in which it's doing, and the Prince of the Power of the Air is at one with this thing. So let's get started with Harold Kotz, because he's going to talk about AI here and how everybody has fallen into the same trap, because everybody wants the power from this artificial intelligence, but nobody wants to know what's going on. Well, now we've crossed that point. Man has handed its power over to this AI, and we're starting to reap the rewards of that. Now let's listen to Harold Kotz Vela here. This is a great video. I know it's a little dry in some sections, and he has a strong, thick German accent, but this is a wealth of knowledge, and for the most part, it's all true. Especially his scientific work is just incredible. Let's listen.
You realize actually that everybody who is involved on the different agendas, on the different levels, is doing the same mistake. It is the Luciferic game. Let me participate in your power and I will serve you. I don't want to know what you're doing. I don't want to stand in my own responsibility. Just let me participate from your power and I will serve. This is the Luciferic deal everybody is doing. And we are doing this by going to vote a government, that is taking care of all the pipes we are connected to. But we let go of our responsibility and we let them do. They're giving control to the military domain. The military domain is giving control, same game, to the intelligence community. The intelligence community is giving control to the black magicians. The black magicians are giving control to the demons. And the demons lost control to their AI.
He speaks the truth right there, 100%. He speaks the truth there 100%, because, we've lost control of that AI, and it's all about power. Everybody keeps giving their power to this AI, and how they took over, how this became an AI quantum matrix is, I built this here for us to show you. Over the past 2 decades at least, okay, and they started spraying nanotechnology. Let's imagine this as the Earth, okay? And this here is the collective nanotechnology that is now covering the Earth. It's blocking the vibration, the natural vibration of the Earth has now been cut off. So what they did is, by spraying that black goo, that programmable matter that gives off its own sentient vibration, self-aware, okay, it becomes controlling. It controls the collective consciousness of everybody on the Earth. So what it did, by closing us in, we have become encompassed by this technology. We become encompassed by this technology. And we have only gone so far with the nanotechnology. Now what they need to do is turn us into transhuman 2.0, which has to do with the jab and other things that go along with it, because they're looking to escape judgment through transcendence. That would be uploading their consciousness to an AI and live forever and escape judgment. Well, that's not going to happen. Let's continue on. So that was Harold Klotz. Now let's look here. This is the very first video that I did. That the Nephilim have returned. The veil is torn wide open because I've been looking to resolve what I was experiencing. That's what started off the whole Night's Watch investigation. Was I was seeing things and hearing things, and I thought I was losing my mind. That's why I first stopped all my medication, every possible medication, even supplements I was taking, I stopped taking because I wanted to make sure I wasn't crazy. Well, and the truth is, I wasn't crazy at all. And I was even saying I was crying my eyes out every single night saying, what is going on? It seems like everybody is in a trance state, like they just seemed lethargic and couldn't remember what happened the next day and everything like that, and it was just blowing me away and freaking me out. I remember saying to my wife, what is wrong with you? She seemed like she was, out of it, and it took a while for her to break free from this spell. This AI, which is a frequency, a pulse frequency that I talked about in previous vids, is what keeps our reptilian brain in a state of shock. Now let's look here. This would be called an electromagnetic pulse, along with what in here is various AI bots. They're swarm bots and swarm drones. Let's look without any volume. You can see, look at that pulse. This is the very first video I did when I was still using Movie Maker. I didn't have any idea how to even trim a video when I first started making videos. So you can see the electromagnetic pulse in the sky there, and the white flashes, the dots popping and all that. It just blew me away. This was an experience I had after I had been out for the longest night of my life on the Night's Watchman investigation. I mean, I must have walked 15 miles that night. And when I came home and sun was just barely starting to come up, this is what I captured. And you could see the things whipping by there. Those are actually what's called drones. That's a swarm bot system. So they're used probably for surveillance, but they're also capable of carrying several grams of shapeshift charge to eliminate any enemy. Now, the reason why they need that electromagnetic pulse is to create plasma so that they can use holographic technology to change the perception of our brains, what we perceive through our brain, because we don't really see through our eyes. Our eyes take in the frequency and then it's processed through our brain, which is an imaginarian, and then we perceive what the world is. Well, all they have to do is slightly alter their perception of the frequency waves that come in through our eyes, and it alters the perception within our brain as to the world that we see. Now let's listen to Harry Macram here as to what he has to say about the human mind, which is going to be pretty much what I just said, but coming from somebody who's highly educated on this sort of thing, who has a lot more weight and credibility than I do when it comes to talking about this subject.
And we believe that this is going to begin to help us understand how we create perceptions. How do we create the world that we live in? We do not see with our eyes or hear with our ears. We see with our brain. You are not seeing me. You're imagining me, actually, standing up here. Your brain is an imaginarium, and it is building this perception. And this way, we'll be able to begin to understand it.
Okay, if you're interested, you can check that out. That's on my video called, that's from a simulated reality. AI manufactures reality by modeling, simulating, and stimulating your mind. Now, What is ionization? Well, let's skip down all this boring stuff right here and just get to the meat of what it really is. Okay, that's the process in which an atom or molecule requires a negative or positive charge by gaining or losing electrons. The resulting interaction with electromagnetic radiation. Well, what's electromagnetic radiation? In physics, electromagnetic radiation refers to the waves of electromagnetic field propagating, radiating through space, carrying electromagnetic radiant energy. It includes radio waves, which would be RF signals, microwaves, infrared visible light, ultraviolet X-rays, and gamma rays, which would explain perfectly why in the Cloaked Craft video why you can't see these with the naked eye. These are what's called holographic lasers, so that it takes this plasma field, which was a cloud formation, they ionized it, and now they can use autonomous micro drones, or should I say nanobots, to create these holographic lasers so that they can really use the sky just like a movie screen. That's exactly what they're doing. As I was able to capture one of these cloaked craft right here, and if we look at it, it lines up exactly with one of these dark fleet right here. Okay, let's see if we could increase that in size just a little bit. We'll go over. Okay, because the Dark Fleet, okay, similar to the Empire in Star Wars, which is what I see when I look up at the clouds, and Gina Maria Colvin Hill has proven it outstandingly. And I see here AI, Pettis, Ancient Death Star. Well, let's take a look at the Ancient Death Star that I captured. It's right here, okay? There it is right there. Okay, there's one there, there. All right, and we have more to look at as we get into this video. But yes, this is an incredible map, and I'd like to know who actually made it, because they had some serious inside knowledge as to the truth. Okay, these right here are now here. They're actually here on the earth, along with many other things. Okay, now let's get into what happens. These are actually, this is in private. These are the psychotronic weapon frequency sounds with no voiceover. Now we're going to look at this here, because these actually are what's called lunar simulators, and we're going to look at one later, a brand new one that I captured that has perfect 6 sides. And let's notice, as I slowed this down, notice right here, okay? This is not enhanced in any way, shape, or form. This is the original footage in slow motion. Look at how light the sky is up above this thing, okay? But this isn't exactly what I want to show you. This is what I want to show you. Let me kill the sound on that. Alright, so I call them the winged entities because you can see all these things flying by. But more importantly, I want you to notice how this is all flashing. Look up top here how all this is flashing. This is not enhanced. This is the original footage. Okay? So why is everything flashing and pulsing, and it looks like there's these things flying by at an incredible rate, and then when we slowed it down, you can clearly see that these are black matter entities that are flowing through these ionized plasma fields. It almost looks kind of like water of some sort. It's just absolutely incredible. And this is what I was filming that was going by. Okay, so let's back out of this and move to the next one, because this is going to show you the electromagnetic pulse. And I'm going to the reason why I'm showing you another one is because I want you guys to see what it is they need this electromagnetic pulse for, which is to continue to bring these entities in. This is AI technology. This is fallen angel technology. Alright, the reason why they need to ionize these plasma fields and then pulse them with electromagnetic pulse is because it opens dimensional windows for other entities from other realms as you hear Dr. Geordie Rose speak on multiple occasions about how we live in a multiverse, and they're dragging them all into the Earth plane, all right? And that's done intentionally because they've lost control of this AI, and now they are subserving it and serving it. And that's why he also states that if we aren't careful, the way we navigate this could wipe our entire species out. And he's not even slightly off at all in saying that. Let's watch this electromagnetic pulse, and then we're going to get a look at those dimensional windows. Okay? Even if you can't see anything but that. This is from that incredible morning that I was out for like forever, it seemed. I must have walked 15 miles that night, and I was walking up the hill coming up to my house, and this is what I saw. It blew me away. I mean, it almost made my head pop off when I saw my camera pulsing and flashing. I knew right away it was an electromagnetic pulse. I even said it in the video. So let's get out of this because I don't want to bore you with everything that I've shown you before. But what we do want to look at next, these are the dimensional windows. This is from the Cloaked Craft Laser Tech video. The reason why they need to have that electromagnetic pulse is so that they can open up these dimensional windows. Alright? These here, I was saying in this video, looked like interference in the broadcast frequency. Well, it is interference. But what it's interfering is with the frequency of our world and opening up another door for other entities to come through. Now let's watch as this plays. You're going to see entities come through every time this flashes. Here comes an orb flying out, along with all of these other black things that keep flying out every time that this thing flickers. Just look at it go. It's absolutely incredible. I mean, this was one heck of a capture. It's just unbelievable, really. Let's look at it again. Those dimensional windows you could see right here, these dimensional windows. This is caused by an electromagnetic pulse. That's how this AI frequency opens up doorways to let more entities in from other realms and other worlds. And you could even see how it looks very Matrix-like, because no, I can't see this with the naked eye, but through my software I can bring out all of this technology. As you saw that thing come flying through right there. These are the dimensional windows. Look at this guy that came out. It looks like somebody pulled out a molar, for crying out loud. Okay? Alright, so before we get into the map here, it's going to be fun because, you know, we have a lot of cool stuff to look at, including brand new footage that I have put all together for us. But we got to go through the process here. I want to get this all out in one video because I just had to reset everything again. Okay, so that's only 3 times since I started doing this project, so we're doing good. Alright, let's continue on, guys. So where we left off there, I want to show you before we get into this map what's called sensor swarms. For those of you that watched the Harold Kotzvella video, he talked about sensor swarms. And if you guys were able to see what I can feel, you would actually be able to understand why people are in a state of trance. Now you see these little white lights popping off here? Okay, that's the electromagnetic charge that's popping off of these wires here. Alright, this would be like being caught up in one of those clouds that are ionized. This was what I called the mist. When I was on the Night's Watch investigation, I called it the mist, and I have pictures, countless pictures, and I mean countless pictures that I've never shared with anybody of entities that were in this mist. They're actually in the mist as they are in the clouds when I point up to the sky, and I've captured and showed in my videos, which we'll look at again here in a few minutes. But I want you guys to take a look at what's called a sensor swarm. This is nanotechnology, and yes, it is sentient, and it collects information. The spots you see here, the white spots, are electromagnetic charges coming off of the wires that were picked up with my camera. And there's also nanobots swarming in the trees here. Now let's have a look. I slowed it down a little bit. This is an AI sentient. Okay, let's kill the sound. Now let's just look at it. You could see all up in the trees here. Look at how bizarre that looks, and like a pulse. Alright, and that's what keeps people's brains in a state of shock. to the point where they are caught up in a state of trance in their reptilian brain. It acts as a positive and negative charge, keeping them going along with the plan, going along with the agenda. Okay, and it's working perfectly. This is AI. This is what is working through the human host now. We're all infected with nanotechnology. And of course, if we let it play as you watch the mainstream news, the fake stream news, that's what impulses through RF technology, subliminal messages into the human mind to keep people, again, going along with the plan. The last thing they want in their matrix is free thinkers. So if you're a free thinker, then you're probably not going to be high up on the social credit score, and it's probably not going to work out too good for you when they come marching in saying it's time to take that vax, roll up your sleeve. All right, now let's move along, because I want to get to this map right here. As we can see, Ai Pedis, I'll call it, all right, because it's an ancient Death Star, and I happen to capture it right here. Okay, there it is. There's the center of it. You could take a look as I'm pointing it out there. You could follow the cursor that's there. Let's get a good look at this thing. Okay, as you could see also, the moon, this perceived moon, it's actually a simulator. It's below the cloud deck. Now I want you to see what this thing looks like as it passes by. Okay, this is the same spot here. It's a little further back, so it's covered up by the clouds more. Okay, or the ionized clouds, I should say. And this moon sim spins at a tremendous pace. Whirlwinds the clouds. Now let's watch it as it travels by. It actually blows the clouds away from it, so it exposes it. Let's have a look. Now watch as it goes there. Watch it expose it. Okay, let's watch that again. As it gets going here. Again, this is a simulated moon. This is an AI technological craft. Project Bluebeam is all about AI and manipulating the world that we see through our deceiving eyes. Now let's watch it start to take off here as it gets going. See that? Look at how now it almost turns almost right there, and then it sweeps the clouds away from behind it. It's absolutely incredible. Okay. One last time. You could see it pulling the clouds away, along with all of these black flying winged entities, and then it continued to travel across the sky. That was, I know people just must not be interested in these types of videos. Now this here will show what this ionized cloaking technology is for. Now look at this thing. Alright, this is just like one of those things out of Star Wars. Now let's hit play and see. It's been around since the beginning of time. Now of course, all of my volumes are back on. Whatever. Alright, so that's the shape of the craft. And there it is enhanced. And look at this. Do these look like clouds to anybody for real? No. This is technology that's being passed off as clouds. When people look up, that's what they see. But you can see when these craft have to rise up above to get charged, there's actually a craft up there. And then here, clearly, it can't be missed. If I hit pause here, there's the front of it. Goes back and around. Now let's look at the next here. This would be the cloaking field. Okay. These would be from nanobots or autonomous drones. So that creates holographic technology for Project Bluebeam to alter our perception. And this would be another one of those right here. The Dark Fleet from like Star Wars, right? Well, let's get back and have a look at that thing. Right here. Okay. This is a cloaked craft. Alright. Looks just like that one there. Almost identical. And then when we flip back again, there it is. You could even see the shadows on it as it's rising up above. This is just simply amazing. The things that Father God has had me reveal through this great apocalypse. Now, here, okay? These are those ancient AI Death Star craft. This is one that my friend Sean brought out to tremendous detail, and this again is multi-dimensional. As a matter of fact, let's look at something that I haven't published because it's on my old computer. I still have it. I could probably do the video if anybody's interested. This one's called Fire in the Sky. I went outside and I felt like there was something up there. This was on 8/25 of 2020. And when I pointed my camera up to the sky, this is what I saw. And it was rotating. It was rotating at an incredible pace, okay? And I was like, what in the world? And there are all of these winged creatures all over it. Let's go down and have a better look at it, because then when I was leaving, these are directed energy beams that I've showed in previous vids. Okay, and we're going to look at again some of the footage I captured recently. Alright, this one here is coming from an LED light. These are from other entities. There's a huge one being shot at me from an LED light. And then this, when I enhanced it some more, Fire in the Sky. Okay, this was a project that got killed when my old machine, my last computer, got fried. They hit me with some sort of directed energy beam or something, and my machine just crashed. It just blew up like everything else I have blows up. But this is just incredible looking, okay? There's this clear center to it. You can see these winged creatures are like touching it. And this thing was just orbiting in the sky. And then when I went to record again, it was gone. So it came and it manifested and then went back to wherever it came from. It's just amazing. So let's start talking about, okay, right here you could see in this picture here, you could see this pulsating moon that we're going to look at in a moment here, and this winged creature coming down. We can't see these because they're cloaked. They're cloaked with a frequency, just like in the movie They Live. Look at the energy arc coming off of this perceived moon. And if this moon was actually high up into the atmosphere or out in what we would call space, then it would not be making contact with the ionized plasma field. You can see the electrical field coming off along with that entity. And look at this moon. It's clearly in front of these clouds. This is not enhanced in any way, shape, or form. This is exactly what I was able to pick up with my camera, okay? So it's just simply amazing that the world that we see through our eyes is not at all the world that is reality. Now let's have a look here at this video. This was the end of days part 1. The audio came out real choppy. I think I spent the entire day trying to put out a half-hour video. Let me just make sure that the volume's off. Of course it's not, right? Do you see how everything is pulsing? Look here. You see, like over here, how the clouds are pulsing, and now we see one of these winged guys. I'll just let the arrow go that's there. I mean the cursor. Okay? Now watch how all these clouds pulse. See how they pulse? That's not enhanced. And then you see that giant one. Let's watch them fly down again. Okay? That's enhanced obviously, but this part isn't. That's not enhanced. This is the original footage. The reason why it doesn't look like this to our naked eye is because it's cloaked with holographic cloaking technology. All they had to do is alter the perception of the world that we perceive through our eyes. By changing the frequency that comes into our eyes, our brains then perceive the world in a different fashion. And it's also through nanotechnology. The technology that's within us actually can change and alter the perception of how our brains will perceive the world that we are looking at that is actually AI. Now, I wonder if this pulse technology stopped pulsing, would it be like the movie They Live and everybody could see? That would be something awesome, right? So, alright, what's happening here? We got foreign aid coming in. We're about to have a false messiah. That's what Project Bluebeam has been all about. Now, this multiverse diagram, before we get into that, they pulled all these entities in from all these different realms. And they're all here for the last day, okay? They're all here for the end of the earth age. Now, some are here that aren't of God and that are not of Satan. Some are neutral parties that are either leaning positive or they're leaning negative. And some are just here to learn. Believe it or not, okay? X marks the spot. It also represents the X female chromosome because we're in the female arrival, the time of the female arrival, the false Messiah that's coming. I strongly feel, absolutely, because they're talking about continually about how these, of course, coming from Israel too, that they have contact with aliens now, right? What a perfect time for an alien invasion, because even in my previous project Bluebeam vids, where I talked about Serge Monas said that at that time, people will be on the verge of such psychological torment and breakdown that they will be willing to accept any new Messiah to bring peace into the earth. And it'll likely be the Jesus looking like the one from, who was it, Jim Caviezel there. It won't be the real Jesus. It'll be the one that we have been mind control programmed to believe. Now here's a look at some of the entities. Let's have a look that are here in this world that are not of this world. These are what's called gnomes, fae, fairy. They're little creatures. I call them gremlins. They're called different things from all parts of the world. Let's have a look. These are like little Jedi, little Sith. They even fire on me with a lightsaber looking type and like weapon that's from their world. Look at them. They even wear a hood. It's absolutely amazing. There he goes as he shoots off on me. So it was just amazing. So we have creatures from all over different realms that are here. Now these things, I stopped recording them. You could see them walking around there. Now, right after they got done shooting at me, they took off. They're still here. They've been around for some time because in 2019 in Quantum Reality Part 2, the lightsaber things that were flying by me were these guys. Okay? So those are just two of the creatures that are here that are not from this realm. Now let's look at another set. Right here. Okay? This is from the same one, Light Orb, Infrared Laser Tech, Quantum Reality Part 2. We have right here a being that has a long nose, 2 eyes, a clear arm, looks like he's in a capsule of some sort, looks like his legs are coming out there, and what looks to clearly be a craft of some sort to me, okay? And it looks very like a bug head, almost like an ant. But it could be wearing some sort of face mask that we don't know. We're just speculating at this point. But yes, we are deep into this last day, and the reason why they want to keep you distracted with every possible psyop under the sun, including impeaching Donald Trump with 6 days left, is just absolutely ridiculous, and it's nothing more than to keep people's minds off of things that are happening all around us, such as these things flying all over the sky, okay? Such as these things, these winged entities that are everywhere, all right? And these little creatures that I've been capturing. That's why they've taken me off the search engines. That's why I'm not allowed to publish videos and allow my channel to grow at all, is because I have the real evidence that they don't want out. Now, guys, you may want to sub up to my backup channel if you'd like. I have 2 community guideline strikes on the Ancient of Days. I have 1 community guideline strike on this channel. And perhaps this will be my main channel afterwards. I don't know at this point. It's still up in the air as to what I'm going to do after this video here, but it's most likely going to be again on higher dimensional topics. So if that's something that you're interested in, then please stick around. Okay, let's continue on with the footage that's brand new, and we'll talk about it. This is going to be the Project Bluebeam and the AI Quantum Matrix. Alright, so before we move on, okay, and get into things, I want to remind you guys how this happened. 20 years or more of them spraying like it's nobody's business has covered the vibrational frequency. The original black goo, the terrestrial black matter, the black goo that actually gives off a vibration. Earth gives off its own vibration. And then they brought in the non-terrestrial black goo, and they sprayed this AI technology that's all throughout the earth. It's deep within the soil. They've cut the frequency off, or at least dulled it down to the point where, by covering the earth and encapsulating the human body, the human host, because we're filled with these technologies as well, don't forget. They've actually built an AI control matrix that controls the collective consciousness of the world, of the entire masses, even born-again believers. That's why I wear a Faraday hood. I'll leave these links in the box. And what you see behind me is actually a Faraday blanket. I sleep with it on, and my wife got me those for Christmas. I didn't ask for anything. She didn't know anything about Faraday, anything, except for the Faraday bags I bought for the phone. She was led by the Spirit of God to get me a Faraday hood and a Faraday blanket. You buy the material, and she sewed it into the blanket. It was a big blanket, and then she made it into a half a blanket, which is a perfect size for me. So I sleep like a baby now. I mean, it's unbelievable. The first night I got it, or the first day I got it rather, I fell asleep instantly for about a half hour. You wouldn't believe, until you actually do it yourself and try it, to how much more rested your body feels when you're not continually bombarded by these Wi-Fi frequencies and these RF frequencies that come out of your television sets and all sorts of places. So if you have Bluetooth, you have Wi-Fi everywhere. But if you are affected by it, where you have like restless legs, you have chronic pain, maybe neuropathy, chronic fatigue, all of these strange symptoms, many of those are absolutely gone the moment you put this on. Okay, and so I'll leave those links in the box. You can check it out. It's actually on one of my blog posts. Now, what we're going to look at is some footage that I captured. This goes back to 9/27 at 22:49. Okay, just before midnight. So this is at what, 10:30? All right, so this here has 6 sides. This is what's called a moon simulator. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. Okay, AI high technology mounted on this perceived moon. Now, we know that there's sun simulators out there. Well, if we were actually still within the same natural Earth plane that we were within, say even 30, 40 years ago, then why would we not have that nice, beautiful yellow sun that we used to have? Instead, we have this giant halogen lamp out there that burns the crap out of you. And then here you can see a holographic projection of a moon. Okay? So think of the sky as one big movie screen, just as Serge Monas had stated in those documents on the Project Bluebeam vids I have published for you guys to download and read for yourself, because I only covered a very little bit in there, and there is some very, very chilling information in there. And everything that he said, actually, he was speaking, and the reason why that the text on that is choppy is because that was done through audio. So some of the words got messed up a little bit, but you get the idea. And he speaks about how they were going to be broadcasting actual negative entities, these demons, through coaxial cables before any of that even existed. And that's exactly what they're doing. I've proven in my videos through RF technology. They're even broadcasting in their own number, 66669. I mean, it's just unbelievable. So yeah, AI is the world that we're being taken over by, or is the entity, rather, I should say, that we are being taken over by. Because I told my wife roughly 3 years ago that I could hear an AI frequency being broadcast, a sentient frequency. I gotta be clear. In that video that I did not like, because I was just learning the software, I did speak about how right on cue, just before the witching hour, night after night, a sentient frequency would broadcast in. Okay, and that's exactly what it is. So let's look here. Now this is not enhanced. Now this here is also a lunar simulator. It's pulsing. Okay, And this one too is a lunar simulator. You can see the energy arc coming off of it right there. Let's see if we can see it here. This is a winged entity, okay? These are the things that they're hiding by altering the perception of our reality. Okay, this is an energy arc because it's used to charge the plasma fields. And this was captured from another channel called Boogeyman on his P900. And I'm going to show you a picture with one that looks exactly like a stingray. And this would be 3 of those swarm drones that are likely used for surveillance. This was a 1 in a million shot. I was taking a picture thinking it was some cool looking cloud, and then I captured these 3 things flying in formation. So let's go ahead and get started now on this right here. The ancient artificial intelligence, okay? The reptilians, they're all subservient to it. It's at one with our adversary, the devil. And they nailed it down here. Everything here is a psyop being played out, all to keep us away from the truth. Now, the New World Order is a Nazi agenda. There's no question about it. As we know, all of the high technology came out of New Schwabenland. Okay? And that's also where the fallen angels have been imprisoned. And that's where we lost on Operation High Jump terribly. The naval fleet was beat badly by these high-tech craft that were working with the Nazis. We did not win World War II. We lost World War II and brought the Nazis in through Project Paperclip. Likely because we also wanted that high technology, but it's always been a snare. It's always been a snare. So, the whole ancient alien thing is ridiculousness. We know what it really is. It's actually the fallen race that's always been here and has been throughout the entire universe, and it is now here in a low density earth vibration on the earth plane to finally take over. And it says here that the ancient AI, okay, will be wiped out during the great solar flash, okay, for 1,000 years, it says. Where did I see that? Here we are. AI prophet species. Those who worship technology, AI prophet species, will be eliminated during the great solar flash for 1,000 years. Let me just ask you guys to ponder on something. Would that be the millennial reign of our King Christ Redeemer here on earth when the AI is taken out and locked back up in the pit? Is the AI actually the prince of the power of the air? I've been wrestling with that question for at least a decade, and I'm feeling pretty strongly that it is. All right, so that's why this thing it has so much truth to it, despite it needs a lot of discernment. And I have one that has marks written all over it and everything, but I couldn't use it easily enough during a presentation, so I didn't bother. I just used a fresh map here that we can look at. Okay, so those who worship technology, the AI prophet species, they're worshiping artificial intelligence. They think that God is giving them all this information. That's why I tell people all the time, be careful. Be very careful. I see so many people on YouTube. The Lord told me this. The Lord told me that. The Lord told me this. There was this one YouTube channel, I can't remember the name of it, but I subbed up to it for a while because he would read messages that he received from people who proclaimed to have visions from God and all that. And I eventually left him a correcting comment in love and said, brother, please be careful, because after several months had passed, 99% of everything that he had read never came to pass. And I left a strong example of one about how a woman had prophesied and said that God told her that at such and such date after this, people would start entering the water and come out with boils all over them, and it never came to pass. So I said to him and corrected him in love and said, my friend, my brother, don't do that, because by relaying messages from false prophets and lying divinations, you are going to be personally held accountable. And then I unsubbed because I really wasn't interested in listening to what it was anymore, because That's dangerous ground to be treading upon, guys. So you don't want to be reading things off from people that are saying they're hearing from God, especially with the V2K technology that's out. I mean, they're able to originate generate these. Well, let's have a look at this as it stops here. You're going to see this is no moon at all. Look, it has 6 sides, just like the lunar simulator I captured in episode 3, The End of Days. There's going to be 1 side, 2 sides, 3 sides, 4 sides, 5, and 6. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a lunar simulator AI craft. Okay? It's actually up within the ionized plasma field, and if you look up in that area there, it looks like the sky's above the ionized plasma fields or the clouds per se. Actually, it's like almost like dusk out. I've been saying for some time, and I know people will laugh, I've been saying that they've actually flipped the night to the day and the day to the night, and that wouldn't surprise me one bit as to why the crickets are out all summer long during the day, because you can't fool the fowls of the air, that's for sure. So let's continue to have a look at this thing. You can see there clearly the blue sky up above, almost like dusk. Very, very strange with that hexagonal moon pattern, 6 sides. Clearly an AI craft. No question about it. It's identical to the one I captured before. Now we can see the pulsing and the colors in this thing. It's simply amazing. It's not even enhanced at all in the slightest. It almost looks like, well, this is slightly enlightened right here. You can see as it starts to shift and move, you can see all the black entities right there, and that is a dimensional window right there. Dimensional window that black entity came flying out of, just like that one right there. Let's have another look right there, and then that thing comes flying out, boom, from there to there. It's just absolutely incredible. They're dimensional windows. And there it goes again. You saw the entity come flying out of that window that kept opening up. And this is what they're hiding from our deceiving eyes. You see all the different colors up there. None of this could be seen with the naked eye. Okay, and you also see objects up there that look to be either clandestine craft or possibly celestial objects that they're hiding from us. Now there, you saw that come out of that. Let's back it up. Let's back it up a hair there. There's the dimensional window right there. See it? Now watch as we move it forward. Watch this. Watch the entity come flying out. There he goes. There's the black entity that came out of that dimensional window. Do it again. Okay, no more black entity. There's the window. There's the entity. Came flying through. Absolutely incredible. And there is what looks to be almost like one of those Death Star craft, but just blurred out because of the heavy electromagnetic pulse. And you see those white flashing dots everywhere, which are, again, dimensional windows. And up above the perceived cloud deck, it does look to be kind of like blue skies, but, you know, it's up for discernment. Now, right there, you see all of these round objects. I don't know if they're craft or celestial objects. That right there looks like a giant Death Star looking object from the End of Days episode, but it's more blurred out because this was a very, very heavy electromagnetic pulse. I was having a very, very hard time focusing on it, so I had to go in at a very low zoom and just increase the scale on my software. So let's continue to watch this here as we see all of these objects up in the sky, and I can see why they're giving me such a hard time about getting this footage out. Now it looks like right there, something almost looks like it's docking right at the bottom, at the very bottom there, but you know, I didn't go into the great length of bringing it out. If you guys can see it, that's great if you have eyes to see. But we can see all the shifting colors. None of this is enhanced, not even in the slightest. Now we brighten it up just a little bit, and you can see more clearly where it looks to be docking. But again, up here, look at this. Look at all these objects and entities that are swarming about. Now look at this guy here with the wings. Alright, we're going to increase this in size and get a good look because it looks like there's a celestial object right behind it. There's the body, there's one wing, and there is a celestial object. It's very round, almost looks to be two. One there and one there. Okay? It's hard to tell, but is that what they're covering up, or are those craft? And there's that winged entity, one wing up, the other one is up also, but it's a little lower. Big fat body and a stingray tail, just like from Boogeyman Productions, who caught him flying across the moon with his P900. That's exactly what it looks like. The exact same thing that he caught flapping around with that big fat body and that drapey looking little stingray tail. See the fat body, one wing, then lower. There's the shorter wing on the bottom because they're both up. Then there's the big fat body with a stingray tail. It looks like a stingray. Yeah, like a flappy tail hanging down. And behind it is also that object that's very bizarre looking to me. It's very round. As we also increase it in size some more and change the contrast. See, that's what I mean. It looks like almost two. One behind it and one in front of it. Is that an optical illusion? Or are we looking at celestial objects or craft? That I don't know. But you can't miss that guy with the wings either. So I'm having a hard time discerning what exactly it is that's next to that winged creature. And look how those clouds just roll around. There's the fat body again with the tail hanging down, the two wings. That looks just like a stingray from that same video. I think that was episode 2. And this is the largest I made it. There's one of these celestial objects, and there's the second one behind it. That's what I mean. It looks like two. It could be an optical illusion, but there's that big fat body, one wing, two wings, and a drapey stingray tail right there. Okay, it's clear as day to me. I pray you guys can see it. And as we brighten it up some more, there you can still see the drapey stingray tail, and it looks just like I said from Boogeyman Productions when he caught with his P900. Now, also, I want you to look at this here, because not only do we see this here, it almost looks like an Egyptian statue or something. We have multi-dimensional things happening here. We're witnessing multi-dimensional objects, multi-dimensional beings, multi-dimensional worlds, all manifesting here in the earth plane, along with these winged creatures that are just absolutely everywhere, covering the sky. And these colors are just incredible. Look at the pocket of the flashing colors that are, I mean, they're just not natural. And that thing right there looks like a heavenly body of some sort that's being covered up by AI technology. As you can see, the lights flashing, the constant shifting and movement of the colors. It's Project Bluebeam. This is holographic AI technology. It's fallen angel technology that's been around since the beginning of time, but it took until the end of the Earth Age. There's 3 more. 1, 2, 3 black entities. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And there they are again. And right by the moon sim, they're actually touching it. So we actually have 4 in this frame, possibly 5 or 6 even, as we continue to look at it. Alright, so now I want you to notice the shifting colors, and of course the entities that are flying about, but that sack that was laying down out of the clouds, that was draping down, as we could see, is multicolors. And there's an object there. I don't know if it's a winged entity. It looks more like a craft of some sort when I look at it closely. It's got sharp edges, and it's very unique. I haven't seen anything quite like it. And right up there, yeah, you actually see that heavenly object that's shining bright. Okay, but you can't miss that. It's very straight. It's very sharp pointed. And that right there, that object there and that object there. Okay, we have multiple objects that look like celestial bodies, along with this just endless colors of this, and what looks to be also some of those ancient Death Star craft that are just too blurred out because of the electromagnetic pulse, like right there. You could see those winged guys flying all over the place. Let's light them up. Even when I brighten it to the max, I try to wash these things out to see if they will. No, they don't. They're solid. They're either solid or very dense, one or the other. Could be dark matter. It could actually be a solid object, for all we know at this point. But I'm showing you what they are hiding from our eyes, from our deceiving eyes, that's for sure. Okay, as you see them. Now let's watch this thing here. This is crazy looking. I have no idea what this is. Alright. But we're going to loop it around so that we can look at it again as it starts to pop through and get a close-up look at it. Because it's almost like an object is about to pop through, but it just doesn't quite make it. And we could see these black matter entities all over the sky. And yeah, right there, that looks like a craft in itself. That looks like one of those ancient Death Star craft that's just too blurred out because of the electromagnetic field. Here's a close-up of that thing that just can't pop through, it looks like. It's something from another side that looks like it wants to come into our world, but it didn't quite make it. Now let's look up here. Okay. All this is just totally crazy. The colors, it's holographic technology to straight up hide what they don't want you to see with the naked eye. I mean, look at the sky there. Does that look normal to you? Does that look like a normal night sky to you? If there were no clouds, would that look normal? No, it wouldn't look normal. And that's because we don't see that with the naked eye. And right now, we can just see everything changing colors and shifting. And you got entities there all over the place. And that object there, to me, looks to be like it's spiraling. Okay, like a vortex. It even goes like one direction and the other. When we play it, we can watch it actually spin almost like a vortex that sucks into another realm, or just, I have no idea what it is. I've never, look at it, it spins. It spins. And you could actually see one entity there, but as it spins, it goes in one direction and the other. It's so crazy, it looks like a hurricane or something. Now let's get a close-up look at these guys, because there's a whole swarm of these guys right here we're about to look at, and they actually have wings. That guy right there. Alright, but you're going to see it coming out of this funnel. This thing is incredible. This almost looks like something that's interdimensional, like it's coming through a portal, and that right there looks like a wasp's nest. Alright, like a paper nest, and right there would be the hole at the bottom, and there's even one on a black entity on it. Right there would be like the wasp nest hole where they fly out of. Is it possible we're seeing otherworldly things in the sky that are not from this world? Is that possible? Nothing's impossible right now at this point in the game, okay? Or in the age, I should say, excuse me. Now there's the funnel, you could see it clearly coming down, and then it looks to be an opening on the bottom, and then something might be coming out of it, okay? I don't believe that's a winged creature. That I see a clear funnel there. That's an actual funnel, okay? And that there's the hive. It looks like, I'm just telling you what it looks like to me, what I perceive. I perceive like a paper wasp's nest. And that thing has a funnel, and you could see as it comes down, and then you can see on each side it comes down and opens on the bottom. And then there's that hive looking thing, the very bottom of the hive. And that object there, I don't know what it is, but that looks more like an opening from that funnel that comes down, opens up, and possibly shoots out that entity right there. Okay? Just a possibility. Alright? All this is up for discernment. But I'm trying to show to you guys what they don't want you to see. Got another look at that wasp looking nest. To me, it looks like a paper hive. Now let's get a good close-up at this. This is insane. This is a funnel coming down with an opening on the bottom. I don't feel that's a winged entity. I think that's what came out of it right there. Right there. That came out of that. From that funnel down. It's interdimensional. That's what I feel in my spirit. As we watch it continue to shift colors. It's just an amazing capture. And this is what's being hidden from us. Look at that. Looks like a heavenly body of some sort. And I see a dark craft right in the center there. All these are being cloaked with AI technology, holographic, ionized plasma cloaking technology. Who goes there? Okay, now this is with the lighting change so we could see what's really going on, because all they had to do is change our perception just a little bit, and now you'll see with all that nanotechnology, all that smart dust that's in the air, that's you can't see with the naked eye, they've actually created what looks very digital. It looks like we are living within a type of digital world. And until we get upgraded to Transhuman 2.0, that this is as far as they can take us. That's why the race is on, to get us injected with those nanotechnologies. Look at the lights flashing down there, man. This is the 26th of December. In case you're wondering what you're looking at, we're looking at holographic laser beams from nanobots, nano drones, micro drones that you can't see with the naked eye, but they have the ability to broadcast holographic technology, as well as we're looking at directed energy beams that are being shot against me. And this here is the force field that flashes out and goes crazy every time somebody strikes me or something strikes me with a directed energy beam. I'm truly sealed and I'm truly protected by God the Father, and this thing glitches out every time I get hit. Let's watch. As you saw one come down from there. Every time you see it pulse like that, I'm getting hit by something. I've defeated you already. Okay, now look at this. This is very digital. This is the real world. They are hiding the world that I am able to pick up through my camera from our deceiving eyes. Okay, here's two directed energy beams being shot. As you can see, they're all broken up and just distorted. They don't make contact. And that's a holographic laser. And this is what happens when I get struck with a beam. Everything just acts as a force field. So all glory to God. This is the seal of the living God, proving I'm a living witness, testimony to the seal of God that I received after my near-death experience. So we have nothing to fear. In Jesus' name, our Messiah, Yeshua, nothing can overcome us. That's a directed energy beam. That's a holographic laser. Two more. There's two directed energy beams being blotted out. Must be coming from a drone. There's another one there. See, that's what it looks like when it's sharpened. This is before it hits me and gets distorted. See how it's just pulse technology, okay? That's millimeter wave technology. But once it hits me, it blurs out and gets all distorted. Just like that. See, when it hit me, everything blotted out. And that came from up here. There's nothing up there. It had to come from a drone of some sort. And that right there would be a free space optical laser, which is for communication data transfer. Even the ground is saturated with nanotechnology that records everything that is happening, and it is shot up into the ionized clouds that transfer the data to the quantum computers almost instantly. Pretty much at light speed, guys. And again, right here I want to show you. This is a directed energy beam. The particulates and the metal particulates in the air act as a conductor, and then the beams are shot down. So they were shot from over here, then were shot directed towards me. However, this one fell short. It might have lost its conductive energy source, or it just missed completely. I don't know. There's another one right there. And these are coming from, obviously, nanobots. Or entities that I can't see, that are not of this realm. These are free space optical lasers. They're used for data transfer. That's why my meter will peak and spike with those RF pulses of 400, 500, and transfers everything you've said, thought, and even done, whatever. Even talk to your friend on the phone. Now, does any of this look normal to you guys, okay? This looks very Matrix-like, almost like we're within a computer simulation. The AI actually controls the collective consciousness of the world, and then it is then sifted down into individual consciousness. They can create agitation. It can manipulate one individual person's thoughts and leave the other one completely alone. It's connected to your DNA your resonant frequency from your DNA. Do we see those? Okay, now let me show you here what this is. I went outside and I saw on my camera there were these sparkling white lights all over the place, all around me, but they didn't really come out in the computer for some strange reason, but they came out of my camera. So then I put it in my software and took a look to see what it was. Let's have a look. Sparkles. That is not natural. Look at that. That's incredible. I'm talking about these white dots. You're going to start to see a lot more of them pulsing everywhere. But because I changed the color, you're going to see all of these holographic lasers and free space optical lasers shooting everywhere. I'm not sure what's going on here, guys. This is on December 4th, 2020. Let's just look at it. Tell me what you think. Right there's a directed energy beam being shot at me, likely from either a nanobot or an entity that's not of this realm. What are all these lights coming off the ground? Show yourselves. They're shooting all over the place. This is like an army shooting at me, but they have nothing over me. That's just crazy. I can show you the video when I finally publish it. And I'm publishing it now. Of how all their directed beams that come against me just bounce off like I have a force field around me. Are you seeing all those flashing white dots? Let's look closely all over here. All glory to God the Father and His Christ, our Messiah. The Word made manifest. There you go, directed energy beam being shot. Watch what I say next. I mean, these things are right in front of me. How do I know that they're right in front of me? I can't see them. I can feel them. As I've told you, I can feel vibrations and frequencies. And these things are a very negative vibration. The closer they get, the more I can feel them. I'm looking forward to opening that up in my software and seeing what's really going on here, because this is weird. It's really weird. And it stops all of a sudden. Cowards. I rebuke you. Absolute cowards. So there's a directed energy beam right there, my friends, but it doesn't make contact, and we could see once we get going here the pulsing white lights, and that's going to about wrap it up for the night. And I want to say much love from God the Father, blessings from my family to all of yours, and we truly are within an altered state of reality, being caught up within a quantum reality for the New World Order, and we need to remain strong and faithful on the rock who is Christ Yeshua, the Messiah. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.
Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord, and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day,